John Rappaport, investigative journalist, will be joining us with government documents where they admit they're killing hundreds of thousands a year with deadly prescription drugs and hospital malfunctions. So that is coming up in the third hour today, at least part of the third hour today. John will be joining us. That said, I am not going to lead off the broadcast today with the Obama birth certificate news. I am going to do that and try to contain myself and be focused at the bottom of the hour. Because I happened to see a newscast this morning on Infowars.com out of Houston that brought up, like warfare, flashbacks, trauma. And I'm going to cover that first, and I ask God to help me control myself and actually make all the points and be focused and not go into a rage. There is a systematic program killing thousands of children a year in the United States by design. The government tortures the children to death over a long period of time. And this is done in front of everyone. And I have seen it myself, and I am a coward. I discovered this was going on about 14, 15 years ago, and I've been on air a few years, and people would come to me for help in Central Texas. The more I would help people, the more I would discover. And I found out that they were kidnapping people's children to sell them, but they were also doing medical experiments on them. And I would go to people's homes and see the photographs and home movies of their children and then hear about them dying in the CPS custody or going from, 60 pounds down to 20 pounds. Concentration camp victims. I caught police choking women to make them sign documents to hand their children over. The problem is, see, I have extreme feelings of violence. And then when I hold back the violence, I become physically ill. And I understand why people ignore evil and ignore tyranny because you don't want to admit it's going on. And then what do you do about it? And so these are areas that I've pretty much ignored, but I realize the base of my rage is the abuse of children. That's where all the rage, all the energy, all the hatred that has been useful in waking people up has come from. That's why it's so real. But I have to transcend it. We have to transcend it from abject disgust and hatred and sorrow for these children to being champions and going up against these people. I've got to reassess everything I do and take action because, we hit on so many fronts, we cover such a spectrum of information, but the one thing that's so painful, I won't cover it as much as I should, and I won't go out and personalize it and show you these people, is the children and the crying innocent parents. So that's coming up. Also some good news. House approves amendment to limit Pentagon drone spying on Americans. A report of spy drone almost causes mid-air collision with Jen over Denver. FAA investigating. That's up on DrudgeReport.com, which means it's going to make a viral. I want to thank the Drudge Report for covering that real news. Our other report, our flashback to the AP saying Obama was born in Kenya. That is up at Drudge as well. Stay with us.
If you want an American company with American products made by Americans...
War continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Barack Obama's wife, Michelle Obama, has said twice on video, we've played it here, in 07 and 08, that her husband was born in Kenya and went back to his homeland of Kenya. They've given us a fake birth certificate, undoubtedly fake. He had the name Barry Soetoro. He gave up his U.S. citizenship. He was signed up at a mosque as Muslim as a child. I'm not saying it's bad to be a Muslim. The point is, everything about Barack Obama that we've been told is a lie. We don't know who he is. I was not a birther 4.5 years ago, but in the last 3 I have been, because the evidence is overwhelming. And it was like a punch in the stomach yesterday when Breitbart, I saw the Breitbart link, and it was confirmed. They've confirmed that his publicist, his literary publicist, for 17 years, I said 14 in my video I did last night, it's 17, excuse me, from 1991 to 2007, in scores of press releases and official publications, first black president of the Harvard Law Review, born in Kenya, raised in Indonesia and Hawaii, which is exactly the case. And then you've got the Kenyan government saying, yes, his birth records have been cut out criminally. That's an official White House request by Bush. We later learned secretly to find out, because Hillary was running around saying it during the campaign, and they said, yes, his birth records have been cut out. That's smoking gun. But when you add that for 16 and a half, 17 years, his publicist, his spokesperson, in book deals he had, promoted him as Kenyan born, and then you've got his wife saying he was born in Kenya. His grandmother says he was. When Corsi flew over there a few years ago to try to go to the hospital records, they detained him and put him on house arrest till he could get a plane ticket and threw him out of the country. Now, again, people say, well, so what if he's a foreigner, not really American born? The issue is he's blackmailed, ladies and gentlemen, by Hillary. This is the third Clinton administration. And yes, the archive.org, we have screenshots of it. It's up on Drudge Report, drudgereport.com. It's up at Infowars.com. The AP was reporting in 2009 that he was Kenyan born because they were going off his bio. You can go to my website, Infowars.com, read articles. We have links to Michelle saying when we went back and visited his home country, his homeland, Kenya. This is the reality. And the Breitbart people are so scared, and they should be. They should dump everything out they know. They're like, we apologize, we don't think he was born in Kenya, but it does say he was born in Kenya, and this was put out for 16 plus years. It's just like people can't believe the NDAA. They can't believe the drones. They can't believe talking street lights that listen to you and spy on you. They can't believe the CIA director says, yeah, all the new appliances have tech in them watching and listening to you, and the smart meters are controlling them. People can't believe tyranny, and that's why tyranny is almost always able to take over, because people don't learn from history. This is a big, smoking, giant, stinking, most disgusting scientific tyranny anybody has ever seen. It knows what it's doing. It is in everybody's face. It is breaking people's wills, and it is moving into high gear. Red alert. Red alert. Red alert. It was Hillary's campaign that came out and said, where was he born? And then when she couldn't beat him, they made a deal at Bilderberg. We were there covering it. No one else was in the corporate whore media. And now here we are, 4 years later, and it's the Clintons' third term. They own Obama. They run him, the Chicago mob, all of it. That's why Horzai can steal billions and get caught lying to Congress, doesn't get in trouble. That's why Obama could say, I'm launching war because the UN said so. I mean, the president is a completely compromised, total, over-the-top, blackmailed teleprompter reader. He is the ultimate puppet, the maximum puppet. Everything Webster Tarpley said 4 years ago when we shot the Obama deception, before Obama was in office, when he was president-elect, I started making it the day he won. you watch that film, 40 plus million views total online, free. And it's like prophecy. Everything we said he'd do, he did. Not hard. It's like if you know football and a coach you've been watching for 10 years goes to a new team, you know they're about to change up their defense and offense, and you know the plays and what they're going to do. I mean, you know that coach. I knew who his bosses were, who his financiers were, who he appointed, who he was getting. I knew exactly what he was going to do from A to Z, and it wasn't hard to know. Once you know reality, once you're not buying into the mainstream media garbage, you really know how stuff works, it's not hard, it's simple. But there's one thing that's hard, and that's finding out just how evil these people are. Because then you know you've got a giant responsibility to do something and to say something and to risk your life. And now I am personally far beyond even worrying about myself, my family, my children. Because I know if we don't beat this, there's no future anyways. You understand that? There are things bigger than yourself, bigger than your family. And I got hit with an epiphany. I already knew this. Everybody knows this. But it really hit me how important it is. We're in the shape we are because we've been taught about the me generation, where people get off on their neighbors failing, get off on others having a problem. They don't care as long as it's not them. People join the system and they think it's funny what's going on. They think it's a shield, something valuable that they don't care about others. When you create a society like that, everything starts rotting and falling apart and degenerating. When you do as thou wilt, when you only care about yourself, you create a hellish world. But the do as thou wilt crowd is scientifically genius when it comes to evil. They know how to get most people to join evil and being selfish and thinking they're getting ahead. But with those that are good of heart and have common sense and come from good bloodlines of people that had love and decency, more and more I realize that's why the elite are into this. It's true. Just like with breeds of dogs, there's sweet ones and there's mean ones. There's gregarious and true to the end, and there's wicked. And by breeds, I mean even within subgroups of so-called human race and different groups, there's different bloodlines within those groups. And they know how to target those of us that are good at heart. I'm as wicked as the day is long. Areas of my mind, I can see what the evil sees. You see, really good people actually can see the evil and the good. But that is a more rare type. Most people that are just good are good and trusting and are not full spectrum. And they cannot understand what's happening. They don't understand the enemy. They can't think like the enemy. They can't get in the enemy's mind. They're sheep. They're not sheepdogs. I'm a sheepdog. Many people are sheep. Many are wolves. The globalists try to convert sheep sympathizers to serve the wolves, believing they're going to win, but they're still stupid sheep. So you have these meek, well-meaning people who get manipulated through guilt and systems to actually serve the dark side by following false propaganda templates that actually aid and abet the system of evil. And then when the good sheep, but the naive sheep are confronted with this, they always want to defend the evil and make excuses because they don't want to believe that they've signed on to a lie and something bad. They don't want to believe they've been wrong. But to all of you yuppies and trendies and every race, color, religion, and creed's got them, who think it's funny and who think laughing at corruption is funny and who think that rationalizing things and making excuses for it and only caring about yourself, it's a gross analogy, but I have to use it because it's the only way to really document it. Why do you not like going to a big city pool? Because there's hundreds of people in it and none of them care about anybody else and they're urinating in the pool. Sometimes you'll get even a 10-year-old kid who's lazy.